Everybody, I'm making this video from what was our library in the villa, and over to my left, I can't show you at the moment, I'll show you another day. We have rows of cupboards, and we have literally thousands of books that we brought from the UK with us when we first came over here 15 years ago, and we're always adding to them. It was really my husband's favourite spot in the house. But while he was away this time, Ayub and I have turned it into a studio. We have 2 sets of screens, microphones, recording equipment, etc. Because we realise that if we're going to move positively into the future and we want to grow, this is a way of moving forward. What we don't want to do, and I'm sure you'll understand, is become one of these charities that gets bigger and just more, you become bigger and bigger and constantly talking about your charitable work you do and encouraging people to support and donate, etc. That is important, of course it's important, but I think we want to do more work with not only our work here at the refuge, but what we do out in the community, and where we are trying very hard, and I think with some success, to build a much more cohesive, compassionate new world in Morocco. And we now have so many young people and Moroccans who support us on a regular basis. They can't afford to support us financially. There is still a lot of poverty here. And I am minded of the comments I've had recently when I've posted on Facebook or Instagram, and I've shown videos of animals that have been injured and in some cases abused in a dreadful state that we're bringing in. We do that because we want our donors to know exactly what we're doing on a day-to-day basis and where their money is going. But of course I get so many comments from, as we get bigger, we get comments from all over the world of people who say, I would never go to that terrible country again. It is so cruel. Or why are people so cruel there? Well, I tend to disagree. I think when you look at the Middle East, and we're in North Africa, the cruelty that happens here happens the world over. I know what's happening with the RSPCA in the UK. And I have friends there who work in the horse world who see dreadful abuse in the UK. And when you compare our country to Tunisia and further into the Middle East, we still have an incredible number of very compassionate, established Berber people here who really want to care for their animals. We need a better framework. We need the vets to be allow foreign vets to come in and help on a pro bono basis. We need more vets. We need more sensible decisions taken at local level. We want to implement the new laws so it is better for all the animals in Morocco. And those are the sort of things I want to talk about in a very general way on podcasts in the future, and I hope very much with other activists who will join me. But as an example, I want to tell you what happens overnight and today. It's actually a very sad story, but it demonstrates how much we actually do value and care about the community. I had messages from a Moroccan who was working in Canada, and he phoned to tell me that his mother, who lives in a very, very remote village where they don't have taxis, they don't have modern facilities, there isn't a pharmacy there, 3 hours outside of outside of Agadir, and Agadir is a 3-hour journey by road from us here. And someone had attacked her donkey, and she was heartbroken. And she didn't know what to do. On the bottom of one of the hoof had come off completely. I asked him to send me videos, and it does look pretty grim, but we listened to her speak to him on the video as well. And she was a wonderful elderly lady who cared so much about this donkey, and she couldn't get hold of painkillers from a pharmacy, and I was about to say, give it some fine olive oil because that's very good for pain relief, when he said, my mother's been giving it olive oil. The muscles are starting to work again. It's looking very well. It's trying to get up. What could we do? Just what could we do? We couldn't just leave it. So Ayub's taken control to some extent now. He's spoken to the young man in Canada, and he's asked him if he could organise transport from the village into Agadir. He thinks he'll be able to do that. And if they could bring the donkey into Agadir, we could have our driver in Agadir standing by and bringing it up here. At least we've got medical facilities and we could treat it properly, even if it doesn't make it. And that's always maybe the case. But it will be looked after carefully and with compassion. And we hope that the compassion we feel for the animal is felt by its owner as well. And of course, the relatives over in Canada. I was just thinking now, actually, Ayub's sort of rushing around trying to organise things now. But of course, we still have the wheelchair. Do you remember we had a donkey that had the back legs slashed in a wheelchair? And we might be able to use the wheelchair again. The donkey desperately wants to live and it deserves a chance. And we have to find a way somehow. That is the only humane thing to do. And I hope you would understand that. There's another case north of Casablanca where a young Moroccan woman contacted me, absolutely heartbroken because she had seen a mule very close to the cart it used to pull. It was very skinny, obviously in a bad way, and the owner doesn't want it. And we've been liaising with her. I mean, I said to Ayub, for goodness me, the business of our ambulance is still in the courts. We're still waiting. We could, push come to shove, not constantly be asking people, but go and rent a van for the day and go up to Casablanca ourselves and make sure we get that mule. So that's in the pipeline as well. And so the days go on day by day by day. I don't know if I mentioned last time I spoke to you, you can see me wearing glasses. And this is fascinating. All the time Charles had been away, I'd been keeping the place running and I was getting quite dizzy, and I was putting it down to all sorts of things, post-COVID, you know, anything you could think of I was putting it down to. It wasn't until I went back to the UK just very recently and had my eyes tested. I've got cataracts and they need to be taken off. So I thought to myself, well, if I go back to the UK, that'll be at least 4 visits. It'll cost a fortune. Let's try and get them done in Marrakesh. And of course I have to have them done privately. And the surgeon I know very well recommended a very good doctor. And I went to see her last week. I'm telling you this for a reason. And the examination she gave me was extensive. The equipment was beyond. And I actually have, she gives to me all the measurements, all the x-rays, so in case I ever go anywhere else, I've got them there to take with me. I'm afraid what happened to me 30 years ago, I had LASIK treatment on my eyes and we couldn't find out what the measurements were then, and she was quite upset about that. But I think we've come to a compromise. And what I've had to do is pay up front, which of course, and I think it was money well spent. That comes out of my pension. And they get the lenses from Europe, and they get the finest lenses, the absolute finest lenses. And she doesn't want to do the surgery until September, when the temperature has cooled a little. So I've got some glasses, so I can see you all at the moment. Well, I can't because you're the other side of the camera, but you know what I mean. I can see at the moment. And she said, I can drive. My hips are getting better, and I think I could get behind a wheel of a car now. So things do change and move on. we hope to be doing a lot more videos like this just for YouTube, and we'll do shorter versions for Instagram and maybe for Facebook as well, to keep the social media going. And over the next month, we will be setting up podcasts. So I hope those of you that are interested in podcasts will become interested in what we have to say. So bye for now.